She's white. And because of that, when you consider some of the hard times other people gave her, they were resentful of the fact that this white girl came on the scene where there was a bunch of sisters that preceded her spanning decades that were big time that deserved a lot of credit.
What if I told you the most powerful player in women's basketball might not even realize she's at the center of a silent war? A war between billionaires, coaches, and one rookie phenom, Caitlin Clark. The truth behind Indiana's chaos might be darker than anyone thinks. According to multiple online insiders and podcast hosts, a private meeting took place at the headquarters of Pacers Sports and Entertainment, the same empire that owns both the Indiana Pacers and the Fever. In that room were billionaire owner Steve Simon, head coach Stephanie White, and top Fever executives. No reporters, no cameras, no leaks. Until now, because according to the whispers, what was said in that meeting explains everything strange that's been happening in Indiana lately.
You know, like I said, we are in the biggest moment in WNBA history. There's no denying that. Everybody knows that, and everybody that's in a place in power has a true responsibility, and even myself, we have a responsibility to make sure that this game is in a great place going forward with the CBA. And
the lineup changes, the sudden dip in Caitlin Clark's shot attempts, and the weird energy shift that fans can't stop noticing. Something doesn't add up, and now we might finally know why. But before we move on, make sure you watch till the end, because what I'm about to reveal could change how you see the entire WNBA. And hey, please hit that like button and subscribe, because your subscription truly means the world to me. Alright, let's dive deeper. Most people think the Fever are just another WNBA team. They're not. They're part of a sports empire built by one of America's richest families, the Simons, who not only own the Pacers, but also run the massive Simon Property Group, a multi-billion-dollar shopping mall corporation. At the top of that chain sits Herb Simon, a 90-year-old legend in Indiana business circles. But the day-to-day power, that's all in the hands of his son, Steve Simon, the real puppet master of Indiana basketball. He's quiet, private, and doesn't need social media clout. When you control a billion-dollar empire, your word is law. So when Steve Simon reportedly saw Fever ticket sales dropping and Caitlin Clark's viral momentum slowing, he decided to step in, and that's when the rumor mill exploded. Allegedly, during that private meeting, Steve Simon dropped one single line that left everyone in the room stunned. He said, "From this point forward, it's CCT, Caitlin Clark's team." Think about that. Not a slogan, not a nickname, but a direct corporate order from the man who controls Indiana sports. The message was clear. From now on, everything runs through Caitlin. The offense, the marketing, the brand, all of it. Because when your rookie player is generating millions in merch, tickets, and national buzz, you don't just coach her, you protect your investment. And that's where the drama begins. Head coach Stephanie White had a system, a team-first approach built around structure and motion. She wanted discipline, not flash, plays, not logo threes, and for a while, it worked. The Fever started winning again. They even made the playoffs for the first time in years, but something else quietly started slipping. Ratings, ticket sales, and buzz. Fans weren't showing up for system basketball. They were showing up for Caitlin Clark, the phenom, the deep three assassin, the human highlight reel. So when Simon allegedly told White and the front office to rebuild the team around Caitlin, the room exploded. Insiders claim White snapped. She refused to turn her team into a one-player show. That's when Simon reportedly said the words that froze everyone. "You don't have to like it, but that's the way it is." And in that moment, the power dynamic of the Indiana Fever was rewritten forever. Not long after that meeting, things started to get weird. Stephanie White publicly praised Kelsey Mitchell as the centerpiece of the Fever offense. But behind the scenes, insiders whispered about growing tension. Coach versus ownership, system versus superstar. And caught in the middle, Caitlin Clark, just trying to play basketball while billionaires and coaches fought for control of her destiny. From the outside, everything looked calm, but if you paid attention, you could see the cracks. The team chemistry felt off, the press conferences got colder, and those once viral Caitlin Clark highlights, they suddenly disappeared. Something had changed, and fans could feel it. Let's be honest, billionaires don't care about offensive spacing, they care about profits. When Caitlin Clark was dropping 30 a night, Fever games were selling out, merchandise was flying off shelves, TV networks were fighting for broadcast rights. But when her role shrank, tank, the business slowed down. That's when the phone calls started. When the money slowed, the people in power moved fast. Because in the world of billion-dollar sports empires, there's only one rule: protect the asset that prints money, and Caitlin Clark is that asset.
I mean, people looked at the Cheryl Swoops of the world, the Maya Moores of the world, and others, and they said, yo, there was a bunch of people that came before her that did big things for the WNBA. I respect it. It is right. I appreciate it. But whiteness does have its privileges.
Since that rumored meeting, fans have noticed subtle but undeniable changes. New marketing campaigns center entirely on Caitlin. Exclusive sponsorships are now under her name. A social media push that looks more like a rebrand than a basketball promo. The Fever aren't just a team anymore. They're a platform for Caitlin Clark, Inc. And whether you love it or hate it, that's the reality of modern sports. This isn't just basketball, this is business warfare. Because in 2025, the WNBA isn't just competing on the court, it's competing for headlines, brands, and billions. And Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's the brand magnet reshaping what it means to be a franchise player. Executives across the league are watching. Other teams see it too. They know that if this experiment in Indiana succeeds, the old model of coach-led teams will vanish. The future belongs to the stars, the ones who can move markets, not just score points. So now, everyone's asking, what happens next? Will Stephanie White stay and rebuild the offense around Caitlin's strengths? Or will the billionaire upstairs decide it's time for a coaching adjustment? Because in Indiana right now, one thing's clear. The power structure has shifted, the billionaires are watching, the fans are waiting, and Caitlin Clark, she's holding the future of the Fever and maybe the entire WNBA in her hands.
Building this league to make sure it's in a great spot for many years to come, because you all know I grew up as a huge fan of this league, and I'm going to do everything I can to make this the league that, you know, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15.
If you listen closely to post-game interviews, you can hear the tension behind every polite answer. Caitlin stays diplomatic, White stays professional, but the undertone, it's heavy. It's the silence before the storm, and maybe, just maybe, that storm's already begun. Some say a new assistant coach has been quietly brought in to bridge the gap. Others claim certain veterans are being traded not for fit, but for obedience. Every little change feels calculated. The question isn't if the takeover is happening, it's how long until it becomes official. No one's denying the rumors, but no one's confirming them either. And sometimes, silence says more than any press release ever could. Because if even half of this is true, then Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA. She took it over. She's no longer just the rookie phenom. She's the power center of a billion-dollar shift in women's basketball. And every executive in the league is watching closely, because what happens in Indiana will set the tone for the entire sport. We've seen this before. One player transforms not just the game, but the business behind it. Jordan did it for the NBA, Serena did it for tennis, and now Caitlin might be doing it for women's basketball. The Fever's rise is no longer just about wins and losses, it's about influence, control, and ownership of the narrative. Caitlin Clark isn't just rewriting the record books, she's rewriting the politics of the game. If the reports are right, every decision now runs through her, directly or indirectly. Her media appearances, her endorsements, even the design of next season's jerseys. It's all Clark-centric, and when one player becomes bigger than the franchise, that's when everything changes. The Indiana Fever used to belong to the owners, the coach, and the system. Now it belongs to one person wearing number 22. And if the whispers are true, next season won't just be a basketball story. It'll be a power story, a billionaire empire, a defiant coach, and a generational star who just became the most powerful woman in basketball. This is Caitlin Clark's team, and the world's about to see what that really means.